This 97-year-old man ate alone every day. One day, the staff realized something. For over 3 years, Arby's had one regular customer who ate there every day. There wasn't a single day when Doug Parker hadn't walked inside the local Arby's in Chandler, Arizona. Doug Parker was a 97-year-old Army veteran. Every day, he either ate or stopped by to get his lunch. He was known as Mr. Doug in the community. Mr. Doug always ordered a roast beef slider with Swiss cheese and a senior beverage, Coke with no ice. Every day, the staff and manager at Arby's spotted him coming in and ordering the same food for lunch. He ate alone in silence every day. The entire restaurant staff remembered his order. Christina, the manager, began to worry why he was always alone. She felt curious about her elderly customer and started to investigate. Every employee at this Arby's wanted to learn more about this customer. Day after day, the 97-year-old waltzed in alone, ordered his dinner and took his usual seat. As he always climbed inside with the assistance of his walker, as soon as the staff noticed him, they would hold the doors open for him. One day, Christina was determined to find out the truth. It was lunchtime, and Mr. Doug walked into the restaurant just like he always did. This time, the staff became curious about why he always ate alone and ordered the same meal. But Mr. Doug kept to himself, and it seemed like he was a very private person. The staff hoped that eventually, he would open up. Mr. Doug was a World War II veteran and didn't have any family, so he was all alone. The people at the restaurant started making up their own ideas and rumors about Mr. Doug. Finally, Christina gathered the courage to approach him and ask the burning question. She said, "Hi, Mr. Doug, we're curious, what brings you back to our restaurant?" Mr. Doug looked up and smiled, simply saying, "This is the only place I can get a sandwich that doesn't hurt my stomach." It turned out that the elderly veteran was suffering from several kinds of health conditions, including a highly sensitive stomach. He came to their restaurant because it was the only place he could eat without affecting his health. The entire staff was moved by this discovery. Doug had become like a member of their family over time. He preferred his meal at Arby's so much that he never considered looking for alternatives. In fact, even Doug considered the friendly staff his family. It was because he felt welcome at the restaurant. In fact, Christina always looked personally into Mr. Doug's meals. Whenever there was a new employee, she always made sure to brief them about his regular order. After Doug disclosed his plight, the staff at the restaurant decided to be extra careful with his meals and dietary requirements. For them, he was a hero. The lonely Mr. Doug lived in a retirement home and only ventured out for his daily meal at the restaurant that had become his second home. What they did next came as a surprise to everyone. The next day, a customer saw a waiter sneaking something into Mr. Doug's normal bag of meals. Mr. Doug sat at his old table, awaiting his order. The waiter approached him and handed him the bag with a happy smile. The waiter stood back, curious, as Mr. Doug checked his order. He started eating his slider in silence, but then realized there were a lot of eyes on him and the bag. He then slowly looked inside the bag his order had come in. Then, the old man noticed a small red card inside. He took out the card, and his face showed a different expression. He understood what the Arby's staff had done. They had pooled their extra money to give him a $200 gift card. At first, he thought it might be a joke. But then, he couldn't hide his happiness with this small act of kindness and care from the staff. With a small laugh, he said, "Thank you. I never know if I'll be here the next day. But thank you so much for this." Some of the staff then gave him their phone numbers. They promised him that if he couldn't come to the restaurant, they'd take his usual order to the retirement home. This story touched so many people that it made it to national news. After the story aired, many people left kind comments. The staff, moved by the response, decided to do even more. They offered Mr. Doug free food for life. When people heard about this, a local doctor came to offer him a free eye checkup and glasses. Mr. Doug was extremely grateful for this kind gesture from his favorite restaurant. Following this generous gesture, Arby's was recognized by the veteran group Run for the Wall for everything they had done for Mr. Doug. This heartwarming story received an amazing response from people all across the world. Mr. Doug, who had been completely neglected over time, has now found a loving family.